All right, well, we are Austin Ride. My name is Jennifer Doyle. I'm Director of Admissions at River Edge Hospital. It is a behavioral health hospital. I'm a social worker by trade, so I'm naturally drawn to social injustice. I have been living in Oak Park for 15 years, and I live 2 blocks from Austin. And the inequalities, which is so glaring, in such a close proximity, that I chose to be in this group with these 2 wonderful ladies. So that's how we came in.
Hi everyone, I'm Laura Gutierrez. I am born and raised in Chicago, South Side, and go White Sox. And but now I just purchased a home in Berwyn, so I am an Berwyn resident. I have done a lot of work in the Oak Park and River Forest area, and my current day job at the Chicago Community Trust, working in their program department, specifically working with a Safe and Peaceful Community Fund. I have been enlightened with, not really enlightened, but it has been taught me a lot about what the Chicagoland communities are needed, especially in the Austin and other surrounding areas. So I have a personal interest in serving the Austin community as well.
Good afternoon, I'm Patty Hennick. I'm a River Forest resident. I'm the coordinator of the Holiday Food and Gift Basket Program and a founding member of Lemonade. I'm also a recent member of the River Forest Village Board. And it's through this and because of this engagement that I'm very familiar with the needs of the Austin community. I'm also well aware of the disparity between our communities. I was especially drawn to doing a project in the Austin community because I grew up in this cute little Chicago bungalow. And when I look back on my childhood in the Austin neighborhood, if I had to sum it up in one word, it would be community. I felt a strong sense of community on my block. We had a very active block with block parties and being out for hours playing kick the can and Red Rover and all that fun stuff that kids do and all over the neighborhood running around. I had a strong sense of community at St. Angela where my church and school was. And so our hope is that when current residents, especially children in the Austin neighborhood, when they think back on their experience in Austin, they too will think of community.
So as mentioned earlier, George Beatty is part of our group, and he's a big reason why we are interested in this and taking a focus on trying to make some new, trying to give a new concept. So George is, we wanted to put his face up on for everyone to see, but he is also the founder and CEO of Jehovah Jireh Outreach Ministries, and we'll talk a little bit later about the connection to this organization. So we'll get into, obviously our title is Austin Ride, so we just wanted a lot of you all live in the area in Oak Park, River Forest, Forest Park, or Austin, so we wanted to just give a show how big Austin community really is. This is just one part of the Chicagoland area, and it is the largest geographically and by population. So just to give you, and right next to Oak Park and Forest Park, all the areas, you can just see sheer size, the size of it.
Some other statistics, Oak Park is actually half the size, almost half the size of the Austin community, but twice the median income. Again, just the glaring inequity of the communities. Also, an annual crime rate for the Austin community is also 89% higher than the national average.
So in terms of resources between our communities, in the Oak Park River Forest area, we have 120 plus organizations. In Austin, there's about 300. Anybody in the nonprofit world knows, especially when it comes to finances, funding is a finite number, and we believe that there's room for collaboration and taking the good work that's already going on and making it more impactful and a greater benefit to the communities.
So how do we create opportunities for collaboration between Oak Park, River Forest, and the Austin community? Our lovely Austin Ride. We hope, we aspire to rise people up to inspire action, develop trust, and engage our communities.
So where do we begin? Well, we decided to narrow things down. We wanted to start with 2 main domains in terms of what we would actually have or house on a resource vehicle under the guise of health and of education. So under health, we wanted to look at physical health, mental health, substance abuse, and food sharing programs. The goal in physical is to improve health by providing activities that promote wellness and decrease disease. So working with local agencies like the YMCA and community integrated health approach, linkage between traditional health care and community health care. Also providing access to increased health care by Medicaid expansion. This would all be done on the vehicle. And preventing and addressing disease. So the life expectancy of an Austin resident is almost 10 years younger than an Oak Park resident. Mental health. Suicide has been on a steady increase since 2007 to 2015. It's become so much more prevalent. It's 20% higher than steadily growth since 1996 in the state of Illinois. So really, current method for identifying risk is to ask and to address and assess, reducing stigma. So pairing with agencies like Thrive, building a network of individuals that could help link people to resources and, again, decrease stigma. Can't say that enough. That's my background. And then hand in hand with substance abuse, working with agencies like Rosecrans and prevention, free drug testing, early intervention, abuse and awareness for parents. Lastly, food sharing. So helping families with SNAP applications, WIC applications, and just nutrition sharing in the community, along with River Forest Oak Park Food Pantry. Second domain, education, and really focusing on early interventions, parenting, and skills training. Early interventions, providing families tools for the first 5 years of their life, free developmental screens, working with agencies like HEPZIBA and Head Start program, crisis interventions, and then lastly, skills training. So 75% of Austin residents receive their high school diploma. And average test scores in the Austin area are 76% lower than the national average. So working with GED Chicago, providing free testing, tutoring, and GED taking for whichever Chicagoan has access to. So just, again, these are areas we wanted to start with, knowing that we'd have to change focus with success and failure and be nimble with whatever the community needed and seasonally.
So in terms of more of our vision, as Jenny said, we would focus primarily when we're out in the community, and we would envision dividing the Austin area into 4 quadrants and having the truck out addressing these main topic areas each week. But we want to be nimble enough that we can also address needs seasonally. So for instance, in the fall, winter seasons, we would have coats and hats and gloves, for anybody who might have that need. Or perhaps in the summer, we would have activities promoting anti-violence at a time during the summer when that seems to be on the rise in that community. And so with being out in the community in the 4 quadrants, the one thing we really want to establish is a sense of consistency, that people can count on this truck being there for them and being a resource for them to get the things that they need. And then, as we already touched on, we would be partnering with the existing nonprofits in the area.
So we talked a little bit about our plan, our vision, and we thought that we would also show you a couple pictures of things that we envision it to look like, feel like. One is having, when they said filling out SNAP applications, filling out job applications even, an area where there's computers, somewhere they could come, get mentorship for filling out the applications, anything they might have. There's a bookshelf, having pamphlets, having, children's books. You envision someone maybe coming wanting to fill out an application, and their child can be sitting in the back reading or doing what they need to while they're there, so they're in a safe space. So that's one of the ways.
So here's another example, and we appreciate with the truck, we're going to be limited on space, right? And so to maximize that, we really liked this idea where you had these compartments on the outside. So if we wanted to provide food items or other things that we would fill in this space at a given time, but then still have the interior as was shown on the original side.
Yeah, and this is another model that we looked at that would provide confidential screening rooms for early childhood screenings or assessments for confidentiality.
So why a mobile resource truck? We feel that it's important that earlier we mentioned about George's organization, the outreach ministry. We would partner with them to help make this into fruition. And the organization, it basically, its mission is to address the needs of the community by providing the necessary tools to create a brighter tomorrow by building today out. So one of their main programs is the Stop the Violence program. They go to affected corners by gang violence that have been affected by gang violence to educate the children, family about the negative impacts of gun violence, drug abuse, bullying, and they do this by, they call it positive loitering. They go to these blocks and to promote neighborhood stability, to get people back out on the street and take back their blocks and provide trauma-informed services to the families in need. So this truck would be an add-on service to what they provide in addition to working with Thrive, with all of the organizations in the 400+ organizations in Oak Park and River Forest and Austin to help create and collaborate together. It's just that George, I wish he was here to say more about it because he gave us a rundown of what he does, but we don't get to experience it every day. So so it's something that would be a great addition to what he's already doing. Okay, so we wanted to show you some of the things that they're currently doing. They have young advocates going out into the community and letting people, and asking people to put down their guns, to saying, I want to grow up and live my dreams, don't shoot. And so what they do is the truck would be going along with, with a group of people to get people out. They usually have music and food and drinks and job opportunities. They'll have like listings and trying to get people in a positive way to come out of their house and work together and show that they're, the community already has a great background. Austin community is already a strong, we've learned as I've met a lot of people in the Austin community. So it's just getting people back out and comfortable. So the Austin Ride would complement the Stop the Violence program to help people rise up to their full potential, inspire community members to take action, develop deeper connections to build trust, and engage communities for further collaboration. So we want our communities to continue to collaborate and work together. So we'd like to thank you. I wanted to show our picture one more time, just because you might see this one day out on Austin Street. So, yes, we're Austin Ride.